for your New Year's resolution in your business, right? Guess what? 25% of you have already failed. Sorry, I know that. By the end of the month, 40% have not accomplished what they set out to do. And by the middle of February, get this, there's only 15% left. They're going to accomplish their goals. So what I want to do today is actually show you guys and explain to you how that 15% succeed. Would that be successful? Would that be work for you guys? In other words, forget about why we don't do it. We know why we don't do it. We're human beings, right? The willpower is only this good when you go, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. And after the first week, you've worked out 2 days. By the second week, you've worked out 1 day, right? Willpower is not substantial. But I have the keys to why the 15% work. All right? Here's something I looked up. I listened to it because I listen to a lot of podcasts nowadays. Some guy named Elon Musk. You guys ever heard of that dude? Okay. He said he didn't learn this until 2018. Here's what was happening. Of course, we think he's just been successful since, right? But he said in 2018, he was failing. Tesla was failing. If you haven't heard this story, you can look it up, listen to him tell it. He was producing 2,000 cars a week, and everybody was shorting Tesla stock. What that means is they were predicting it was going to fail. He had to get up to 5,000 cars a week for Tesla to succeed. 2018, not that long ago. Here's what he realized. He was working from 6 in the morning till midnight, having 15-minute meetings with every staff member, just working his tail off. Nothing was working. Then he realized, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find out what the cog in the wheel in our manufacturing process. Why can't we go from 2,000 to 5,000 cars in a week? What's the cog? What's the one thing that's keeping us from doing that? Instead of working, all those hours on different stuff, he says, I'm going to do nothing but work on that cog. One thing. Guess what? He did that for a month. He says, I gave up all the other meetings and I just started focusing on that one cog that everybody said, that's the reason we can't work. He did that the first month. The second month, he says, what's the next cog? What's the next thing that's just so important why I'm not succeeding at a high level? He said, I spent 100% of my time working on that. And then he said, the third month, I picked the third cog. That's all we needed. And by the third month, he was doing 5,000 cars a week. He says, what I learned from that, it's not working hard. He said, before I figured out that I should be focusing on one thing 100% of the time, I was just a hard worker. I kind of think that's been my real estate career. When I say that, I know you guys, when I got into this, and I'll give you examples, maybe you're in production and you wonder why you're not producing at the highest level. Let's talk production first, right? I worked my tail off. But then a year and a half in, I went, I'm doing all the paperwork. I'm doing all this stuff on the MLS. I hired a full-time assistant. That one thing doubled my business. That one thing, hired a full-time assistant, not a part-time. You work full-time. Guys, you're going to laugh. I didn't get on the MLS for 3 years. She pulled everything for me. She did everything. Everybody said, in fact, I had 2 MLS changes in Dallas, Fort Worth. And everybody's going, isn't it hard learning a new MLS? I said, no, I don't know. I don't get on the MLS. They go, you don't get on the MLS? How do you work? I said, Linda does everything. I found a cog in my wheel. I literally doubled my production. Let me give you another story that's going to hit you hard. In 2010, I took over a market center. This is 15 years ago. It was called the Northwest Market Center in Austin, Texas. I had a staff meeting. We had 12 staff members. I had my first staff meeting. Guess what I told them? We're number one. They go, really? I said, we're number one in losing agents. Woo! We were number one out of 700 market centers, dead last in agent growth. And I looked at them and I said, that's going to stop. We're going to focus on one thing. And they said, what's that? I said, growing this market center. And a lot of them, I have a lot of staff members, they didn't want the market center to grow, did they? Right? That meant more work for them, right? So I went, you know what I did? I analyzed, I took all their jobs and I found out they were really good people. I didn't get rid of one staff member, not one. I said, here's your assignments, and I'm going to hire one other person. They go, what's that? And I said, I'm going to have her, by the way, she was Vietnamese and she had a hard time with English, but she was awesome. I loved her because I said, you've got one job. She goes, what's that? I said, your job is to take a new agent and take them to technology first, get them all signed up. Then take them to the broker, have them meet with them. And I said, I want you to, the funnel, you're going to bring people. Instead of my staff passing people along, I said, you're in charge. Your one thing is to get as many agents signed up per month. And I said, guys, this is her job. Okay. And they went, wow, okay. Found the cog in the wheel, found the cog in my process. The first year, we turned it around. We weren't losing agents anymore. The second year, same thing. Guys, this takes time. One thing you've got to realize when you find your cog in your wheel, don't expect it to, get fixed once. I'm gradually working on people, right? I don't know about you guys. If you ever ran a real estate office, does the broker of the office want any more agents? Does she want to look at any more contracts? No, she look at me and go, gee, I don't want more agents. That means I got more contracts. I had to get in her head and I had staff meetings Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What's the first thing we talked about at the staff meetings? Okay, gosh, I forget her name, the little Vietnamese gal. Tell us how many agents we've got coming in. She would give us a report. Yep, this person, there's, and that's all we talked about. First thing, it's the one thing. We've got to add more agents because agents are going to leave no matter what. We have to add more agents. If you're selling real estate, I got news for you. Your one thing is what? Lead generating. Leads. If you want to get listings, what do you have to do? You go on more listing appointments. You want more buyers? You got to do more buyer reps. It's not a hard business. Once you realize it, you go, wait, for me to succeed, I have to do one thing. Lead generate on steroids. Don't get confused, right? I'll go into this later. So guess what happened? The third year. So the one thing I want you to get from the Elon Musk story and the story I'm telling you about the thing I did at the Northwest Market Center, I had to change their attitudes. I had to say, look at guys, we're going to grow. We're going to grow. After 2 years, they got used to me. The third year comes along. It's 2012. Guess what? Really turned it around that year. By December 1st, okay? By December 1st, by the way, to reiterate my first point, you've got to know what your purpose is. In other words, I told them our purpose is to grow. In other words, that's our purpose, to get bigger. If they didn't buy into that, would we have grown bigger? No. Right? So you and your staff, when you want to go from selling 25 homes to 50 homes, 50 homes to 100, you have to get your staff together and go, hey, look, we got cogs in it. We got to figure this out, but we're going to grow. You know what I got when I first met them? I said, I'm in charge of the vision. As a leader, everybody on this call, you're in charge of the vision. Do you know I didn't change one staff member? And the mortgage guy that was in our office, David McMillan, told me, Gene, it's unbelievable. Those people weren't really good employees before you came. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I was there before. It was terrible. I said, what do you mean it was terrible? He goes, it was dysfunctional. He thought they were bad employees. What did they need? Vision. They need vision. You provide that as a leader, right? And guess what? By the second year, we're teamified. We're teamified, baby. I mean, my mortgage broker, I remember, Alice, she goes, gee, how many agents we got coming in this week? Whoa! Ho, was that a change? Are you kidding, Alice? The broker says we got to get more agents in here. Totally flipped around. Okay? So you got to know your purpose of what you want to do in your business to lead your team. Okay. 2 years goes by. The third year comes along. Man, we're busting it. By December 1st, 2012, we were in fifth place out of 750 market centers. 750 market centers. We're in fifth place in growth. Boom, shakalaka. Guess what I did on December 1st? I got the staff together and I said, you know what? They go, what? December's a slow month for recruiting agents. In fact, last year, because December's kind of like, quite honestly, I wanted to take time off with my family. I wanted to give the staff off. And I looked at it and I went, last year, we only recruited 6 people in December. And I said, you know, I kind of ran my numbers. And I said, what? And I said, we could sneak up on number 1. They go, what do you mean? I said, I know none of you are competitive. I'm not competitive either. You can tell I'm not competitive. So I said, all the team leaders kind of take off in December, give their staff off. It's just a slow recruiting month. I said, you know what? And they go, what? I said, if we can recruit 40 people, I think we can pass everybody and be number 1. They go, really? What's that going to take? I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off Christmas and I'm going to take off New Year's Day. That's it. If you guys put our hands together, I think we can do this. And they go, really? I had a brand new, had never been an assistant team leader before. He was a new staff member. My old team leader left. Brand new. He goes, yeah, he's just new. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He goes, yeah. Woo, woo, woo. Instead of meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, why don't we meet every day? I'll tell you what, I'll do interviews on Saturday and Sunday. You go, really? I go, yeah, let's have fun doing this. Woo-hoo. Guess what? That month goes by, we're cooking. We're cooking. We didn't do 40. Guess what? We only recruited 34. Instead of 6, 34. The numbers come out about 10 days into the month. Boom shakalaka, Northwest Market Center, Austin, Texas. Number 1 in the nation, baby. Number 1. You know how pumped that staff was? 3 years earlier, they were looked at not non-producing people. 3 years later, we're number 1. We go now 10 years in. Now, here's the cool part about it. 34 agents in a month. The record that we set for Keller Williams was 227 in a year. 34 of those were in 1 month, December. You guys can figure that out. You can do 227 minus 34, right? We came out of nowhere. By the way, the 227 was a record for Keller Williams at that time, 2012. Now, here's the cool part. I have to go to my boss, my OP, on like the 15th of January with my new assistant team leader, and we're driving down there. Now, this is another key thing. You know, I've been doing this a long time. He goes, hey, what are we going to tell her we're going to do next year? I said, well, we set a record at 227. I think 250 would be good. You know, I'm thinking realistic. We set a record. You know, let's don't go too far. And this is what you do. This is what we all do. Let's don't go too far. You know what my new team leader said? Didn't we do 34 last month? Didn't we do 34, Gene? Take somebody on this call, do 34 times 12. Tell me what it is. Unmute me and tell me.
408.
408. 408. He goes, Gene, can't we have every month December? Can't we just make every month December? I went, dude. Oh, whoa. 227 to 408. So guess what? We set a goal for 400. We came in and told our boss, we're going to do 400. We're not doing 227. We're doing 400 because we just did 34 last month. You guys need to make your goals every month is December this year. You need to have your best month and then have your best month again and then your best month again and then your best month again. And you get your staff together and go, look it, I'm in the game. Now I can tell you, if you met me in 2013, my goals were written down. I can show you pictures of me. I kept the list of agents I was going to recruit. By the way, I didn't want to recruit. Actually, my goal was to recruit 60 agents a month. I never did it. But I had my list with me. I kept it with me every single day. Write this down. Every single day. I looked at it every single day. If you met me on Saturday night at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, you said, Gene, how's it going? I would take my piece of paper out and I'd go, here's how I'm doing. I was so focused. I'd never done that in my life. Well, guess what? We didn't do 400. We only did 366. That is still a record at Keller Williams. That was 2013. We set our goals too realistic. Here's what I want you guys to do. The first thing is to have a purpose, to know the one thing you should be doing. The second thing is set your goals so high that you think outside the box and start setting up systems that can achieve unbelievably high goals. And you go, well, Gene, I want to be realistic. Hey, don't tell them to anybody. You don't have to go in and tell your spouse, hey, look at, I'm just going to, you sold 25 homes next year. I'm going to sell 30 next year. No, 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 no. You can say, what was my best month? I'm going to do that best month every single month. I'm going to set up systems. I'm going to hire that assistant. I'm going to do this, whatever it takes to sell more homes, you can do it. You just want to be realistic. The worst M word in the English language is not marriage. I love marriage. It's called maintain. I can tell you stories when I used to meet other team leaders and they'd go, I just hope I maintain this amount of profit. I said, what are you talking about? I hope I just maintain this amount of growth. I hope I just maintain this amount of sales. Gene, you don't understand. It's hard here. It's hard here in Tampa Bay. It's hard here in Charlotte. It's hard here in Dallas. Gene, you don't even know what the market's been like. Bull duty. Bull duty. I've had my best years in sales. I've gone from 50 sales. I've gone from 14 sales a year to 50 sales a year to 120 sales a year. 3 years by doing what I'm telling you. It's that simple. I know you've gone to seminars and they've 10x or whatever, you know. You don't have to pay for those seminars. Just listen to me. Don't you love it? You just got to get out of your way and set goals so realistic that your actions look different. Right? What you're going to do on every single day is going to be different because you go, wait, I'm not selling 2 homes a month. I'm going to sell 5 homes a month. That means I have to go on this many listing appointments. Boom, boom, boom. If I have a farm area, I got to get another farm area. If I got, right? If I got this many open houses, how do I sit more open houses? Guys, you don't understand. You only need, I've interviewed the top agents in the world. They only have 3 buckets. The 3 buckets of lead generation are past clients and their sphere. Everybody has that. I don't even talk about that. But you should be calling 5 or 10 of those a day, going, look, this is a great time to buy, just so you know. You should be getting leads from that. But the other 2 are always, number 1 is always farming. I have never interviewed a top agent in the nation that's making 5 million in GCI, 10 million in GCI. This is GCI. This isn't sales. This is income. You know what? They go, gee, I got this many every year from my sphere. I got this many from my farm area because I sell 50% of that farm area on listings, and then I get 1 buyer for every listing. And they can tell me exactly what their business is. And they go, if I want to increase it, I just get another farm area. And then that third way is always whatever they like to do. They make their hobby their life. If you want to be the president of the Corvette Club in your state, be the president of your Corvette Club and hang out with the Corvette people. You get more leads. Make this business part of your life, your hobby. In other words, I like golf. I tell you, if I got back into sales right now, I told Susan last night, I would do nothing but golf course communities. I would know every person, the managers that, oh, I would just, that would be my focus because that's what I like to do. I played golf this morning before I got on this call. 2 hours it takes to play golf. By the way, my goal this year was to this year, I'm really getting into it, right? It's my exercise, by the way. It's my exercise, right? I had a goal to play golf 150 times last year. I did 166, too low. This year it's 220. Why did I look at that? Because I played 22 times in December and 23 times in November. I said, well, what's 22 times 10? That's 220. Just like I told you the other. I said, wait, why can't I do 220? That's 2 months of travel. 2 months I'll be on an airplane or traveling or coming to see you guys or whatever. I'm going to do 220. I told my buddies the other day, 220. I said, yeah. Guess what? I went up and played golf by myself this morning in 2 hours. Right? So what we do as human beings, those 15%, the 15% of us that actually achieves the goals we want to do, I gave you the two most important things. The two most important things is you got to have a purpose and got to know the one thing. Once I figured out that lead generation was the one thing I should do in sales, I was top 20 in the state for Remax. I sold 120 homes a year with myself and one assistant, 3 years in a row. I went, I could move anywhere in the nation. They go, why? I said, I don't have to stay here, Dallas, Fort Worth. I know how to lead generate. All the top producers know where their leads are coming from. And if it's not working, if Zillow stops working or whatever, you try to buy leads. If that doesn't work, guess what they do? They go do something else. They're always working on a third or fourth bucket, but most of them only have 3 buckets. That's all you need. You just got to be really good at it. The last thing I'll talk to you about is creating routines. It's got to be we've talked about, you've read tons of books, you could read them all, that habits are the key, right? John Wooden, who was the #1 coach at UCLA, what a stud, top coach of the last 100 years. He had a leadership book and I bought it and I went, ooh, I love basketball. And I'm gonna read this. And in the second paragraph, he goes, I'm gonna teach you the secret of success. I went, ooh, I don't have to read the whole book. Are you guys like that too? It's in the second paragraph. I'm going, ooh, yay, second paragraph. And it said, creating great habits. Oh, crap. Oh, you mean oh, really? That's the secret to success? Almost every book I've read in sales or entrepreneurs or whatever is you got to have good habits, not good habits, great habits. So what happens, and I want you to think of this, the habits come little by little. Doesn't happen overnight, right? In other words, you've got to take the little successes as you go. Take the little successes. Don't think it's going to happen overnight, right? If you want to say, I'm going to start working out 5 days a week. And I met a gal the other day. She's been doing it for 2 months now. She goes, Gene, I just made a focus. I'm working out 5 days a week. The first week it might be 2 days. The next week it might be 3 days. The next week, it's 4 days. Then she's up to 5 days. She goes, oh, no, 5 days, no big deal. My son came to visit us, just left a couple days ago with his family, and he works out. I gave him the DNA. He just has a better body. That's all I can say. He works out. He says, oh, you got to take me to the gym, Dad. So I had to take him to the local gym because he says, I've got he's in a routine. I think the word routine would be better than habit because sometimes we kind of feel like, oh, God, another habit. No, get in a routine. That routine works. 2 years and 2 months ago, I did one thing. And I was in okay shape. But 2 years and 2 months ago, I said, I'm not going to eat sugar anymore. It was boom. By the way, that I said, if it has sugar in it, I'm not eating it. And actually, I call it my BS diet. You don't have to, I could write a book on it. It's called the BS diet. No bread, no sugar. Now, And I went on it, and I did no bread for a long time too. But what's funny about the no bread, no sugar, that people would say, well, you don't eat carbs. I said, yes, I eat carbs. I love French fries. Well, in fact, I love pasta. And they go, well, yeah. No, I said I gave up bread and sugar, dropped a good 20 pounds, feel better than I've ever felt. I mean, and people actually call me thin now. I have people I've never met, and they go, oh, you're in shape. I'm going, yeah, I'm playing golf 166 times a year, and I'm not eating sugar. Now, am I perfect? No way. After 2 years and 2 months, I'll get a good hamburger every once in a while. I've gone back to a little bread, but you know what? I found the key was sugar. For me, it was sugar. And by the way, I can tell you every chip, I still eat chips that have no sugar in them. If they have no sugar, I eat them. People go, you eat chips? I go, yeah. So anyway, create a good habit. I've created a great habit 2 years and 2 months ago. It's now a routine. Now I don't have to think about it. It's like brushing my teeth. Okay? Guys, I want you all to succeed at an unbelievable level. The problem is you can start this and start it, stop it, whatever. You can actually make the decision today to set bigger goals, to set more activities, right? The third thing I'll tell you about is I didn't share them with everybody. Not everybody thinks like entrepreneurs. We are weird dudes and gals. We're strange. Who wants to, who wants to, you know, I want a job with no income. No, I mean, no salary, not no income, right? We're a weird bunch. People don't understand us. I have four brothers and a sister. The only one that understands me is the sister, Ann Collins. I don't know if she's on the call today, but Ann's my sister. If you don't know it, she's in Scottsdale, Arizona. I love her. But she's the only one that understands me. We understand each other. We talk to each other, because we're salespeople, we're entrepreneurs. My other brothers are like, whoa, you moved to Puerto Rico? Why would you do that? What, you own a boat? Why would, they don't understand it. Does that make sense? They don't understand my personality is I wake up every day with a purpose. My purpose is to save real estate agents from not being able to retire. I'm sorry, if you don't know my purpose, you guys need to get into RevShare. If you haven't gotten into RevShare, please come see me. I will spend hours with you because the RevShare in the next 4 years for EXP will be $1 billion. Write it down. 1 billion. And that's just extra. No other company's doing that for you, right? So why wouldn't we go, ooh, I'm going, whoa, Glenn Sanford, thank you. Okay, I want a little bit. I just want a scooshy. I just want a little bit of it. I don't want a lot. I just want scooshy of the 1 billion. Got news for you. Let me give you a tip today that'll help you if you're not getting into RevShare. If you did this one thing and made it a routine, made it a habit, I will change your life forever. Okay, here's what I want you to do. For every sale this year, here's the system. I've taught this forever. I'm hoping at least 15% of you do it. Of course, you guys are the ones that are showing up every week, so you're more like 85% of you who do it, I hope. 3 days after closing, text the other agent or call them. I like calling because then you actually get a person, but try to call them or text them and say, you know what? It was a pleasure working with you, Cindy. It was awesome. You know what's weird? We never get to meet each other anymore. And on Tuesday, let's meet. I have a small gift of appreciation. I want to give you a small gift to say thank you and just meet you. 5 minutes. Gosh, I never got to meet you. You meet them on Tuesday. You give them a small gift. Now everybody goes, well, what do I give them? I said, I don't know, but I kind of think I have something that's special that just came out that you might want to give them. I hope you're laughing. But I did write a book, Be the Legend. And what you do is you go, you know what? I just enjoyed working with you, Cindy. How's it going with you? What's the one thing you're doing that's changing your, you know what, the one thing I'm doing, you might want to share. Here's the one thing I'm doing next year. I had to hire this person to do this. I had to hire this friend. I actually don't go to closings anymore. You know why? Because I got somebody else. I've systemized my business and things are going really well. And inside the book, here's what I would do. Inside the book, I would put a $20 bill somewhere and say, look, I put a little special thing inside the book. So the next time you were with somebody, you can give them the 20 bucks and have them buy the book. There's really kind of fun things. Don't give them Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, that's old news. Give them something that you guys can go, hey, this guy's living in Puerto Rico with a boat, living in, it's all because of what we've started something. When I say that, now, I've taught this forever. Everybody goes, what do I give them? Well, now you know what to give them. You can get it on Amazon, BeTheLegendBook.com, really easy. You get discounts if you buy more. So every closing this year, if you sell 25, what are you going to do? You're going to thank that agent by meeting them, giving them something. Okay? Talk real estate. They're going to go, well, I guarantee you probably half of them will go, how do you like it at EXP? You go, I love it. I wasn't here to talk to you about EXP. Let's just talk business, right? Meet another human being. Ask a lot of questions, listen intently. It's all about them. Then they go, hey, I want to know more about EXP. Oh, well, next Thursday, Gene's got a EXP Explained. Peggy's got an EXP Explained. Whoever your sponsor is, or I'll do it for you. They'll share. We have EXP Explains going on all day long. You don't have to do the presentation. You'll hear all about it. I do it in about 20 minutes. Okay. So in other words, if you want to know about us, get it from us, not your manager at Coldwell Banker, or really your manager at Keller Williams, or your manager at Remax, because they've never been with us. So if you really want to know about it, here's a time that you can go. So you don't have to do the presentation. You just invite them to stuff. Okay. If you were selling 50 homes this year and you do that 50 times, how many people do you think you'll attract? I think at least 10 to 20%. I think you've got minimum 5, 10 people coming. Do you guys know how much money that is? If it's 10 cappers, you make $1,400 in rev share, and then we give you a bonus that first year up to 4,000. You know that? That first year, it's a bonus to 4,000 for getting a capper. Oh, excuse me? If I attract 10 more agents this year, that's $40,000. Boom shakalaka. And then 15% of them will get into rev share. I already know my numbers. You guys are special because you're on this call. The people that I have on my other calls, 100% of you guys are into rev share, hopefully. But quite honestly, somebody said on my call the other day, hey, Gene, that makes sense because only 15% of EXP agents are into rev share. I said, I know. And by the way, it's going to be like that forever. It's going to be like that forever. I can't change it. The 80-20 rule is the 80-20 rule. In attracting agents, it's 85-15. It's okay. I just want 15% of my people. So you get 100 people on your team eventually, anywhere in your 7 levels. 15, you're going to have 15 of them going, hey, can we meet? Where do I do the EXP Explained? I'm going to give them the book. I'm going to meet with them. In other words, that one little thing that I just taught you will change your life. Now you can do other things, right? You can go where agents are. I always tell people it's easy to find agents. It's the easiest thing on earth. Ask your dentist who the best agent is. Ask your doc. Ask anybody. Just walk around today and ask 3 people, who's the best agent you know? They'll give you a number. I got most of my leads, guys, for agents when I was attracting. When I did the 366, right, in 2013, guess where I got most of my leads? Mortgage people, title people, insurance people, appraisers. I asked all my buddies, I said, who's the up and coming hot stars? They go, what do you mean? I said, I want the people that are just excited about the business. And they go, oh, Maria from Century 21, she's killing it. She's only been in the business 8 months. She's already sold 8 homes. I said, cool. And guess what? I'd call Maria. I said, Maria, everybody's talking about you. Can we have coffee? I have a small gift I want to give you. Believe me, on this call, raise your hand if somebody last year call after a closing said, I want to give you a small gift of a thank you. Anybody? Anybody? No hands go up. Huh. Well, that's amazing. Did they not like you? Did it not work? Well, are you not appreciated? I got news for you. If somebody calls me tomorrow and says, Gene, I got a small gift. Can you show up? I'm showing. I'm showing. You call me tomorrow, say, Gene, fly to Tampa Bay. I got a small gift. Okay, I'm coming. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? We want to be recognized. We want people to like us, right? Don't make the business so hard. Don't share your numbers with your brothers and sisters that don't understand entrepreneurs. I share them with my sister, not my brothers, right? Because they just look at me like I'm some kooky bird, right? By the way, I did not work when I was selling 120 homes a year. I got news for you. This is another thing I'm going to share with you today. You need to work this business on your energy hours. When you have energy, don't get burnout, please. Please don't get burnout. Um, I literally would meet with my people. I said, here's how I work. And I would flat out tell them, I'm a morning person. Don't ask me why, but you do not have to set an alarm for me. I mean, it must come from farmers or something. My dad's dad was I don't know what it is. But man, when the sun comes up, Gino's up. So is it okay if I tell you I'm going to work from 7 in the morning till 5 at night? And then I'm going to be home with my kids. They go, what do you mean? I said, I got 5 kids I'm raising. And they like that. I've been telling my people, this is my life. So between 5 and 9 every night, I want to play dad. I want to go to the soccer games. Is that okay with you? And I'll call you back at 9 o'clock if we have to set up something to go for the next day. They go, cool. So that's how I worked my business for a long time. I did not work on Sundays. I'm terrible at night because if I ever did a listing presentation at night, I end up watching American Idol with them. Why are we watching The Voice together? You know what I mean? So in other words, I said, oh, and I'm tired. I mean, people that know me call me early in the morning. Why do they call me early in the morning or text me? Because they know I'm up, right? You call me at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, man, I might be asleep in that chair over there. Now I'm watching Hallmark, just looking for that kiss at the end, just so you know. So anyway, um, I work on my energy hours. I did work a lot on Saturdays. I'll be honest. I had a lot of buyers. About half my business was buyers, and I had to work Saturdays. But man, 8 o'clock, I had my first appointment. 10 o'clock was my second, noon, two, boom. I'd sell 3, 4, 5 houses in a day. They go, how'd you do it? And I go, I show them 3 homes, go to the next one. 3 homes, go to the next one. Right? That's just how I worked. Now, you'll find your rhythm. You'll find how it works. I used to come home with 3, 4, 5 sales on a Saturday night, and Susan would go, well, you didn't fill out anything in the contract. I said, oh, they signed it. The price is in there. I told him I'd fill it out later. Now you guys are laughing, but I got news for you. I'm the worst salesman you have for you brokers, right? The brokers hated me, but guess what? I sold a lot of homes, never had a lawsuit. Everybody loved me, right? Did not work on Sundays. If somebody wanted to see a home on Sunday, I brought one of my kids. I was in my shorts and t-shirt. You know why? I wanted to let them know. They were kind of crowding into my personal time, right? And I showed him exactly how I was going to work. The problem with most of you guys, you don't prepare your people for how you're going to work. You just say, I'm an entrepreneur, call me anytime. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's when you get burnt out, guys. That's when you get burnt out. You're going to get burnt out if you go, I've got to work 24 hours a day. People don't understand. I'm at dinner with my kids and the phone's ringing and I got to answer that phone, boom, boom, boom. I turn my cell phone off when I play golf. If I play golf with my buddies, I said, we all turn our cell phones off. We're here to play golf. We're here to enjoy ourselves. No, forget it. I put it in my bag, boom, right? Now everybody knows it. Now everybody knows when they call and they go, oh, Gene, I knew you were playing golf. You didn't answer. I said, yeah, right. See, they know my schedule. Um, so I want you to, here's another thing I used to give to my people when I was selling. You can do this. I gave them, here's how I work. Here's the 3 things I do. Oh, I'm really good at this. And I gave it to them. I showed them, I said, first of all, um, I'm here to work with you either show you property or sell your home. And the other thing I could do with you is most of my business comes from my clients. I would just tell them that. I said, so while I'm selling you this home, I'm going to ask you if you know anybody else. Is that okay? I prep them. Okay. And I'm really good. I'm better than Donald Trump at negotiating. I am a negotiator. So, and I tell them that's my main function is to find your property and negotiate the sale. Once it's under contract, guess what I did? Cindy, Bob, it was great working with you. And they go, what do you mean? I said, because you notice down below, the inspection, the mortgage, the closing, Linda handles all of that. She is awesome. She's so detailed. You're going to love working with Linda. But my job's done. Have you guys ever bought a car? And the car guy goes, boom, congratulations. He shakes your hand. He goes, the finance department's over here. I'll see you later. And he goes back out on the lot. That's what I did. And by the way, my people love me. I said, boom. I said, by the way, you're going to go to work. And the guys, you got to do this. I said, what's going to happen? We're under contract. We're closing in 3 weeks. You're going to go to work and say, I just bought a home. Woohoo. You're going to tell everybody, right? You're going to go to Texas Instruments. You're going to go to Dell. You're going to go to a nursing station. You're going to tell everybody, just bought a home, right? That's what you're going to do. I said, could you do me a favor? When somebody says, I'm thinking about buying a home too, could you just text me their name and number? And I'll get them right away. And they go, what? I did not have any business cards. I haven't had a business card for 35 years. I didn't give out business cards. I said, you call me with their name and number. I guarantee you I'm calling them, right? They go, cool. Yeah, I'm a texter. So just text me. Now I'm a texter, right? So I did that. So that's when every time something good happened, I asked them for business. This is really key. When their mortgage was approved, woo-hoo, what are they going to do? Go to work and tell everybody their mortgage is approved. I said, hey, your same excitement's going to happen. Could you mind sharing with everybody and then giving me? I said, I get all my business through my people. Boom, boom, boom. Now, here's the third thing that's going to shock you, but maybe not. I didn't go to closings. Why? Now, I told him, I don't go to closings. My mortgage person's going to be there. You know, the mortgage person's because they're giving them the loan. There's no reason for me there. I just pick up a check. I said, so, and they go, yeah, okay, cool. Now here's the system. Here's the system I set up. The closing's at noon. The title person, her name is Kelly. She knows this is going to happen. It isn't a surprise. At 12:30, I knock on the door, the closing room. Open the door. Cindy, Bob. I said, I'm sorry, Kelly, did I interrupt? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But I had to stop by and say, Cindy, Bob. Cindy, I know you like Camus, just like my wife. You love Camus. You love the Reds. Bob, you love this whiskey. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm so sorry I disturbed the closing. I just wanted to say thank you. Hey, when are you all moving in? You guys moving in on Tuesday? Is it okay I come by on like Wednesday or Thursday just to say hi? I just want to make sure I said, yeah, okay, good. See y'all later. Boom, I'm out of there. What's Kelly say, the closer? Wow. Gene is the best realtor I know in Plano, Texas. Oh, and they go, I know. He said he wasn't going to, oh my God. When you're closing 18 buyers in a month, like I was, times 2 hours is a week. I had to figure out a system to do what? Not spend 2 hours of my life in closing. Now, here's what happened. I'm just telling you guys this. As I was going through my career selling, I would talk other top producers that were at the same level I was, and they'd go, oh yeah, I don't go to closings either. I send my assistant. I send this. I do this. I go, cool. We all had systems because again, if you're going to set goals to do more, you have to set up systems to do what? Get your time back. Okay? You know what's so funny is I talk to agents and the ones that succeed at an unbelievable level, they're just running their own little business. and they can tell me exactly how it's running. And if they want to do something next year special, they do that. They pick another bucket to do, or they do something. But once you get lead generation down, life's over, right? Hey, by the way, you guys know when I came to EXP, if you don't know my story, 10 and a half years ago, there were 400 agents here. You know what? I just thought of this the other day. Glenn Sanford, I love Glenn, and Jason Gessing. I met two people before I joined this company. Jason Gessing, the CEO, and Glenn Sanford. And we negotiated a deal, and I'm coming. I sold 6 offices that I had with Keller Williams. I was the owner of, and I sold a region. Do you know they never asked me? I just thought of this the other day. Think of this. They never asked me. We set goals of what I was supposed to recruit so many people. I'm just telling you this. I can show you my deal. I did. They never asked me how I was going to do it. They never asked me why I knew I could do it. Baby, I knew I could do it. Does this make sense? When I'm saying I had become routine, I set up 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I met an agent at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Took the weekends off. I said, Susan, well, okay, I'm going back. I'm going to have appointments. I'm going to do it. Boo boo. It's just like you saying I'm going to have listings at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Listings, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. In other words, I had a system. And now they go, what's going to happen? I said, well, I'm just going out. We just started good. I just started calling agents. I said, boom, you guys sell all 6 offices in a region. You will start to work. Because I just gave up about $700,000 a year to come here for nothing, for zero. That will get your butt out of the chair. And I got news for you. I'm looking at Susan. Susan, I said, well, we were making 700,000 a year at Keller Williams. I gave it all up to come here for nothing. And I only tell you that because I found my own tax returns from 2014. I went, oh crap. I'm glad I sure didn't show that to Susan, that we were making 700,000 a year at Keller Williams. I gave it all up. It was all gone. Boop. But I thought about it. They never asked me why, because I learned how to set goals. I learned how to do my one thing. My one thing was meeting as many agents as I could. I spent 3 months doing a presentation. If you haven't looked at my napkin presentation on YouTube, pull it up. I just look a lot fatter. It's okay because I haven't done it in a while. But bottom line is, I figured out how am I going to show this to agents? I spent 3 months figuring it out. Boom, 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 boom. And I've been doing the same presentation for 10 and a half years. It works, right? It works, but I knew what I could do. Does that make sense? We had 5, you're going to laugh at this. And Glenn and Jason just become good friends. I said, Glenn, I'm a company guy. I knew I have an agreement for what I'm going to do, but I'm a company guy. How many agents are we going to have at the end of 2020? So we had 5.5 years to do that. We had 400 agents. And you know what? The company goal was 10,000 agents at the end of 2020. Now I told him, I said, look, I'm a company guy. I want some more shares. What's the big ass hairy goal? What's just blowing it out of the water? Because I want some more shares. If I help the company do that, guess what he said? Not 10,000, 12,000. Right? We got to 12,000 agents in 26 months. I did all my goals in 26 months, not 5 years, 5.5 years. So in other words, when I laugh about it, I go, man, they don't think like me. I was thinking, by the way, at the end of 2020, we were at 41,000 agents. Okay. Because, me and the buddies I hung out with, Rob Flick, Scott Lewis, Tracy Gagnon, I mean, we set goals. We were all together. I mean, we had this is kind of fun. We're getting back to that. Brent Gove, Jay Kinder, Mike, hey, we're going to go here. We're not going to go here, right? We're going to go here. I recruited so many people with my blue notebook. Because my blue notebook, Jay Kinder would go, show him the blue notebook, Gene. And I have all my numbers down and how many people we're going to recruit and how big the company's going to get. It was company based, not me based. It was company based. It's kind of cool looking back at it. Wow, 41,313 agents at the 2020. At the end of 2021, 71,395 agents. At the end of 2022, 86,000 agents. What? From 400? You know what Glenn and Jason didn't understand? They just hired Michael Jordan of recruiting. I'm just being real with you. I knew what I could do, right? You as sales agents got to realize what you can do. Get out of your own way, get over it. Don't share your huge goals with everybody else. Keep them to yourself. Share them with your team and go after it. Every month next year should be December. Every month is December. Me and Brent are talking about it all the time. We live in California. We're going back to it. This year, my gut feel, I don't know if you guys are feeling this. My gut feel is 2026, we're coming out of this. I don't know why. It's just a gut feel. I talked to a lot of agents across the nation. I think we're kind of turning the corner a little bit, right? We're turning the corner a little bit. 2026, I think we're coming out of this. And then we're going to bust it in 2027, 28. I really do. Don't know why. Just a gut feel, right? Being in the business 41 years. This is my fourth shift in the market, if you want to call it. I did say shift. The fourth shift in the market, right? That I've been through. It takes time to get out of them. It just takes time. Okay, you guys asked me questions. I'm fired up today. Like you guys haven't said a word. I feel I look at me on these Zooms and think, God, I'm just this big. You know, how does this work? Ask me any questions you want about recruiting agents or production or anything, because I've done it all. Am I doing okay, Peggy? I don't know if Peggy can even talk anymore. Is it bless her heart?
Gene, I have a question.
Sure.
What's your opinion on small brokerages, let's say 50 to 100 agents surviving in the next 3 years?
Well, they're all going down. They're not making money. I can tell you this. I know the numbers for Keller Williams, and over 50% of the offices at Keller Williams are losing money. And they've got the best model. They have the most agents per office. So I already know Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Remax, small independents with 50 agents. There, I talked to in fact, I talked to a regional director from Keller Williams just last week. And he said, Gene, it's the worst year we've ever had. The worst year we've ever had. Well, so if Keller Williams is having their worst year they've ever had, just imagine what the small brokers are feeling.
So, what would be your opening conversation when you call somebody blindly, right? You don't know them.
I would just call them blindly and say, hey, look, I'd like to share, I think, a solution for you if you want to talk about it. I mean, I think we have a solution to help you. Would you be willing to listen to any options? You know, most smart people just listen to options, you know, just something to look at. Because we will pay them a little money, company dollar. I don't know if you know that, to
Yeah.
get them to come over. So I would just say, hey, you know, I'd really like to share this with you because we're busting it. You might even lead with, you know, we've had 3 or 4 small independents join recently, and love to share you how that's working. I can tell you 100% of the time why brokers are they don't want to tell their agents they're losing money. You can't. I used to own them. The offices I sold 10 and a half years ago are all losing money now. I looked them up. They're all losing money. I would still be at that company doing what? I'm loyal, guys. I'm loyal. I'd be busting. I'd be throwing money at it. Right? So I think the small independents are the ones to go. The big ones, their heads are too big. The Howard Hannas, the ones that, you know, you know, whatever it is, Home Smarts, the ones that are a lot of agent count, they're not going anywhere. They think they can make it out of it. Go to the small brokers and say, hey, I might have a solution for you. I want to take the anvil off your shoulder that's been on there forever. I think I got a solution for you. We do all the brokerage for you. We take that away. That's the number one reason you don't get sued anymore. We do.
Thank you.
You bet. What time is it, Peg?
It's 10. I got bumped out. It's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock already? We've been on for an hour?
You were on fire.
This is like 30 minutes in my life. No, seriously. Come on in here, Peg.
I got bumped out, you guys. So this was a great call. Don't we just love them?
I love you guys. Man, it was so much fun. I talked way too much.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
But did you tell them the one thing? Listen intently. That's so important.
Oh, well, it's all about them. In other words, when I interview people, guys, hey, tell me about yourself. Teammate, I call it. And I let them talk, and then I ask them questions. They don't know anything about me by the end of the interview.
And send me a copy of your blue book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I'm going to tell you is it's all about them. So if I met somebody and gave them the book and said, thank you, it was great working with you. How's your business going? I listen intently. Well, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? I like questions like that. What excites you about the business? The word excites is good, by the way. What excites you about the business this year? Don't go negative, go excites. Okay, those are good lead-in questions. And then I shut up and listen. I listen intently. I just don't listen. I listen intently. I'm taking notes down.
Yeah.
I'm in control. It's like the old 60 Minutes Barbara Wawa.
Cool. Yeah.
You remember Barbara Wawa? You know, she would ask questions, and by the end, the guy's going, "Oh, you caught me," you know. But it's asking questions and shutting up. It's not. They don't know anything about me by the end. Let me give you one thing. I'll end with this one, because then we can go. Are we supposed to stop now? So
you
anyway,
want.
okay, I got one more to give you an example. This is why I'm good at this. A guy walks in at Keller Williams. And he sits in front of me. I said, tell me about yourself. Now, sitting behind me, right, is my wife, Susan. This is 20 years ago, 2006. And she had just gone through breast cancer. We're halfway through chemo. I think her hair just fell out. She had a blonde wig on. It was awesome. I was married to a blonde for like a couple months. So she had a blonde wig on, and she's sitting behind me. And I think she has radiation left. So she's sitting right behind me, working on a computer. This guy's in front of me. I said, tell me about yourself. He goes, oh, it's been kind of tough. I said, what? He goes, my wife's going through breast cancer right now. I said, well, tell me about that. He talks for 45 minutes. He signs up. He leaves. Susan turns around. She goes, you never told him about me. I said, honey, it's not about us. Can you do that? Can you do that? And she's never been in interviews with me. She goes, wow. I said, so they go, my son plays soccer. I said, go tell me about that. I don't say my son plays soccer too. Your son plays hockey. My son plays hockey. See, I think all those books you've read are incorrect. It's not about, I'm connecting through them. I'm not connecting through them because we all do the same stuff. You smoke cigars, I smoke cigars. Boo boo. You know, oh, I've got to connect with them. It's bunk. It is bunk. My thing is, it's all about them. And then they leave going, that was the best interview I've ever had. He listened to, see, you guys have got it wrong. When you go on a listing, it's all about them. When you're with a buyer, it's all about them, right? It's a bunch of bunk that you have to wear the same clothes or do the same stuff or, yuck. You know what I mean? Be yourself, by the way. I'll end with this. Peggy's been with me a long time, forever, like 18 years.
Yeah.
But I laugh about this. Am I any different now than I was when you first met me?
No.
Okay. This is me.
Yeah.
This is me. Kind of drives Susan crazy. But the bottom line is, I'm not, if you would have done this with Brent Gove, he's Brent Gove. He's the same all the time, man. He's crazy. I love Brent. But the thing is, I can't be Brent Gove. I can't be Scott Lewis. I can't be other people. Everybody has their own technique of communicating. Here's the big key. I bring notebooks and I take notes.
Yep.
And when they leave, I know their kids' names. I know their dog's name. I know what they like, what they don't like. So that basically when I call them back, I go, how's little Johnny doing?
Yeah, that's true.
And I text them like that. I don't text them like, how's it going in real estate? I say, hey, Johnny, did he win the game last week? Now they're going, man, he listened. Hey, do you guys know how to remember names? I'll end with this. Am I ending like 3 times?
Keep
Okay, here's the one more. Everybody says, I can't memorize names. I don't know names. You can. And here's the big key. Because I used to run offices with 600 agents. I knew everybody's first name. Here's the big key. Don't go for last names, go first names. Okay? So what you want to do is when you first meet somebody and they go, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Cindy. Oh, Cindy. Cindy. And I say it twice and I look at them so I can see Cindy's face. And I go, Cindy, how do you spell Cindy? She goes, I'm so glad you asked. It's Cinddi. I said, wow, Cinddi? Woo, what was your mom? Whoa, right? And I do it every time. Now, that's all it takes. The key thing is I know Cindy now. I know it's Cinddi. And I see her later at the party and I go, Cindy, two D's and an I. I'll never forget you. She goes, oh my God, you still, we had a party, 150 people, New Year's Eve,
the other night.
tons of people I didn't know. I would shake their hand. When they were going out, I'd say their name.
Yep.
Now, the key is first names, not get complicated. I don't have to attach them to something. I literally ask almost everybody how to spell their name. I do it almost every time because, you'd be surprised how many people spell their name. The only one that I don't ask them to spell their name is Bob. So, love you guys. We'll let you go. I'm talking way too long.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. This was great. Love you. Thanks.
See you guys. Be good. Have a great.
Thank you so much, Gene. Have a great year.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank
Love you
you.
guys.
Very good.
See you, Ann Collins, my favorite sister.
Wait, Gene,
Yep.
is he still here? Yeah. Gene, they did want you to create a class on how to build the blue book. Like how to do it.
In
Your
other words,
blue
how to do what? What do you mean?
The new book?
Well, you had that little chart and they go, well, we want to know how to do that.
We want to know what's in the
wrong?
blue book. We feel like that's
The blue book. Oh, my blue book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Oh, okay, I'll do something on that. I just kept track of everything.
They
I
want to know
mean-
how to keep track of everything.
Okay, I will. Okay. Do it by hand. Don't do it by computer. It's really. I know what you mean by blue book now. I keep all my stuff by hand. Okay, we'll do another class on that or something. But quite honestly, do it
I
by
can
hand.
attest to that because I've been there and I've seen your stack of notebooks.
Oh, my notebooks are crazy. I mean,
Can
I
you
keep
get
them
somebody
forever.
to do a PDF of the blue book?
Well, what
Some
I'm
of
saying is, I've kept track of everything. You can see, you can't tell. I even do it in pencil and in pen. The hardest thing is I think if you the key to all this stuff by tracking is by hand. I think by hand works. When it's on a computer and you don't see it and you don't write it down, how many homes did you sell last year? 25. How many homes am I going to sell in January? I write down, I'm going to sell 2 buyers and 2 listings. I'm going to sell 4. I make goals of how many homes I'm going to sell every month when I was selling. And people go, how do you do that? I said, well, I'm going to sell 2 buyers because I got 20 I'm working with and 2 are hot right now. I mean, literally, and the key was to have your list of what you're doing. So when I was trying to recruit, let's go back to recruiting. I was trying to recruit 60 people in a month. Man, I had a list of people that I was, they're going to come now. It's kind of like pulling them over. I don't know. I'm very visual on that. I'm just really visual. I don't know how else to do it because I think all these programs that you push something in and then you don't look at it for a week don't work.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
work.
true. Yeah, can do that.
I'm noticing that I'll
The
start
notebook
to
is the
talk to
best.
people and build that relationship. And then, like there was a gal I was talking to mid-December and I kind of fell off talking to her because I actually forgot about her. And then she joined EXP yesterday.
Well,
That
here's
was
the
me.
thing. Right. And that's your fault, right? I mean, when I say
Yes.
it's your fault, we take responsibility because you didn't have the list of her name. I have the list of the people I'm working with, literally the list in my notebook. And I go, ooh, Cindy. Okay, when's the last time I talked to her? I had a little note. And it's all by hand. Okay, I'm gonna text Cindy again today. And I text Cindy twice. If she's hot on moving, I'm texting her almost every day. Heck, they're getting emails from everybody every day going, "You right? Don't you get texts all the time? Don't you get those stupid texts going, hi, how are you? Where you been? What do you mean? I don't even know you,"
Yeah.
right? People are texting, so they're used to texting if they're hot. And then what I did this with buyers and sellers too. I had my hot list, they're buying this month. My warm list, they're buying in a couple months. And then my cold list. And I had them with me all the time. They weren't in some system. See, that's the problem with systems. I never got into that junk. You know, my wife's gone back to the day timer. She's gone back to a paper day timer. You know why? It works better.
Yep.
It works better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paper works, you know, and pencil and paper. You can see my notebooks. I got stacks of them. So I have this notebook I started this month. I just started it this month. And I take notes on everything I do. But here's the key with sales or recruiting. You got to have that list of people you're working on every month. So you wouldn't have forgot about her if you were looking at it daily. Right? Right? Well, I forgot about her. Well, why'd you forget about her? Because you didn't have your notebook with you.
I feel like I'm talking to so many people. I do a lot of my recruiting on social media. So I do it through like Messenger. And that's what I was telling Lisa Kane yesterday about this same gal. You know, I don't have a database, which I never had a CRM for sales. And I'm a paper gal too. And you're right. I just need to get a list, and I need to when I do reach out to one of these people, I need to put them on the list.
And you keep
Well,
track of it. You keep track of it
and
every single day. Let me see if I can.
that list needs to be on one sheet of paper
Right. You
in
carry it
your
with you
purse. It's
in your
you can
purse.
pull it out and look at it and go, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Did I talk to him this week? Let me invite them to that. Have I sent something that helps them, right? You're supposed to send them stuff that whatever it does to help
How
keep
do
in
you send
contact with
them
them.
all stuff when you just have them on a paper list? Like I feel like I need constant contact or something. Do you use something like that,
Well,
Gene?
you've got it. You can do that. I think the problem with that is people get lazy. I think people, I mean, they assume that their CRM is going to be in touch with them. See, that's why I've never done that either. When I say that, go ahead and use our CRM. We've got one at EXP. You can put them on there. But the problem with that is you didn't text them and say, "How's your little doggy, your puppy, you know, Rafi doing?"
It's not
See,
personal.
it's not personal. So I text personal stuff, and I'm a texter. I think texting's beautiful. I used to have to leave voicemails way back when, you know. I'd use my sexy voice when I did the voicemail. I'd do that one, you know. But anyway, you know what I mean? In other words, the problem is I'll show you pictures of me when I did my every month is December year. I had my list of people with me at lunch, at dinner. It never left me. And guys were taking pictures of me. How many people are you recruiting? I said, well, here it is. I've recruited 10 people this month, and I'm trying to recruit 60. And I would put their name in pencil. In other words, see your gal, if she was hot, you should have had a system where you went, she's coming. She's coming in January. So I've got to talk to her every day. I got to text her every day. I got to get her with Lisa. I got to get her with another contact. In other words, the problem with recruiting or sales is you don't have a system.
And I think sometimes we try to build a relationship too long, instead of it's kind of like with buyers and sellers, you ask for the business, you create that relationship quickly and you go ahead and you go in and you ask for the business. With agents, I think I'm a little more hesitant, because they all think, of course, that you're trying to recruit them. And I think that I fail, to go ahead and, build the relationship quickly and then, ask for the meeting.
Well,
I
see,
think
if it's all about them and you're asking good questions, they're going
yeah.
to come up with something. They're going to come up with something. I just don't have enough leads. I said, oh my gosh, we got this fast track program, that's really good. So in other words, there's something wrong. It's not all, they won't understand recruiting. They won't even understand revenue share, right? In the beginning. But they've got to have something you need to call them back and hook them up. Oh, I've always wanted to do luxury. Oh my gosh, I'm going to hook you up with our luxury gal. I do that all the time with our luxury gal. I have her do the presentation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or Pete Middleton or Jana Caudell or any of them that I don't do the luxury thing. So what do you want to do next year? Man, I've always wanted to go up in price range. I want to do that luxury. And I said, why don't I hook you up with Pete Middleton? He'll tell you how he did it. Is that okay? It means nothing. You're not coming to EXP. I take it away. You're not coming to EXP. I just want to share with you. Maybe this would help. And the big key, guys, and you guys know this, we've talked about it forever. I did it at Keller Williams. I invite them to everything. You invite somebody to Cabo, 90% are going to join.
You do an independent text to each one of those people on your list?
Yes. Yeah. Texting is not hard. I can do it by voicemail,
Right.
right? I mean, texting is easy now, right? I'm a terrible typist. I'm just,
And make sure what we're talking about today, because it's recruiting, is everyone needs to be on Jean's call the first and third Monday
yeah, I do a
of
Jeans
every month.
Generals call on
Yeah,
first and
you've
third
got to
Wednesday.
be on that call because
Yeah,
he
get on that.
knocks it out of the ballpark with all this stuff.
Well, and we have other people telling you what they're doing to succeed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not always me, but yeah, I'm glad you're asking that stuff, guys. It's just we make it way too complicated. I think the computer, what it's done to us, is make us lazy and not ask. We think we're intruding. We have a problem with the millennials right now asking for stuff. They just want to Google it, get the answer, right? And so I'm not afraid. Here's what I will tell you. Anybody that's having a problem with it, get over yourself. I had a gal a couple weeks ago. She goes, Gene, I just came back from EXP Con and I just got over myself. I said, forget it. I'm just start calling people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't assume what they're going to think. Just call them and say, hey, look, I'd love to show you EXP. Well, I heard about it 2 years ago. I said, so much has changed. You need to hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard it from Brent Gove. I said, yeah, but you haven't heard it from me.
That's the line.
I like that one. I go, well, I heard it from so-and-so 3 years, but you haven't heard it from me. And I got news for you. It's so different now, right? You got to be a little pushy in that regard, right? I just do. If you want it, you go for it. By the way, a lot of people are going to turn you down. I already know it. First 20 people I called when I came here 10 and a half years ago turned me down. By the way, I did the presentation to them. They said no. Of the 20 that said no 10 and a half years ago, 18 are with us now. Okay, it takes time. They're going to come when it's okay for them, not when you want them to come, right? And then if they're big, like I've got one that I'm going to go visit in person. I'm leaving Puerto Rico because I've been working on them for 10 years. 10 years. And it's a big one. So
Maybe 10 years.
10 years. So I'm big one. I'm going to go, I'm visiting them. Right? Don't worry, Ann. I'll be telling you I'm coming to Phoenix. So anyway, woohoo.
Do I
Be the
know who
truth.
it is?
No, you don't know who it is. But anyway, I hope not. But anyway, but the bottom line is you gotta, when their gate is open, you guys have heard me say that there's a gate of change. And no amount of great presentations, persuasion can open up the gate. The gate of change can only be opened from where? The inside. The minute they go, okay, now I'm ready to listen. Now I'm really ready to listen. I go, okay, cool. Now I can talk to you. I know when the gate's shut. If the gate's shut, I go to the next one. If the gate's shut, I go to the next one. I keep them on my list, but the gate's shut. They're not ready.
Jean, can I just hi, it's Amy here.
Yep.
Miss 10-year recruitment cycle. Um, and I can attest to this because I can say that what I did say to a person in New Zealand when I was just recently there, um, as to why I was going to be going to EXP and giving Peggy a call was because she was the most consistent
Right.
And it didn't mean consistent as in every month. It was that I knew that I was going to be hearing from Peggy at least twice a year. That doesn't sound like a lot, but because she knew that I didn't need pressure,
Right.
she knew where I was at all times. We would text each other, but when I say hear from her, she would say, "Hey, we're gonna meet up," and all the rest of it. With her busy schedule, I respected that. I respected the fact that she made the effort, and I think the one thing I want to comment on is that we assume that that they've heard from so many people out there, but less and less people are actually picking up the phone and less people are actually doing anything in person. So you are going to be a rarity if you are actually that person that picks up the phone like Peggy was. We just assume because it's easier for us to sit back and
Right.
and do the easy stuff, right?
Definitely.
So I just I wanted to back up your claim there. And and the other thing I just thought wanted to mention to Misty was that I'm also, I'm a paper based person, not completely paper based, but I love, the notebooks and all the rest of it. But I know that I have to work in the computer systems for follow up and whatnot. And just one thing that helped me and what I used to teach my staff was that if you are that kind of person, you feel like you can't be in both places, is just carve out one time in the week where you work with one system, whatever that CRM is. I work with HubSpot because I like how I can use the deal dashboard, but carve out one moment in the week where you can take your notebook and update your notes and then set your follow-ups just one day a week. So it might be Sunday night, grab a glass of wine, whatever. I'm going to update all my information out of the book into the CRM and set up the reminders. And then I don't touch that CRM for, for the rest of the week. So it might work for you. I'm not saying it would work for everyone, but I had to do that because I was being inconsistent with the paper based and then I knew that I had some follow up and touching, and then I'd have people calling me and saying, "Oh, I got that text from you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know if I sent them a text because I put that follow up in the system." So
Yeah.
that might just be something that might help you. So sorry to take up too much time there, but I just wanted to back you up there.
No, that was great. That was great. Any system works. The problem is, if I saw you guys at Cabo and I said, "Well, how's the recruiting going?" And you go, "Oh, I got it right here." And you take it from your purse or your notebook and show me, I know you're doing every month is December. What I'm saying is when you can't, when you're really not, it's not attached to you, just like Lisa said, if you can't really have it with you all the time, you're not focused on it. You'll probably go 2 weeks and not even look at it. But I mean, I got so intent on this with my staff when I was recruiting at a market center. I said, "This is our one thing. This is our one thing. Quit worrying about everything else. This is the one thing." And that's what you've got to do if you're an attraction, if you're into recruiting. You have to go, "This is my one thing. Yeah, I'm going to sell some homes, but this is my one thing. I've got to have a system where I'm going to meet people on a regular basis." Just like you do for listings or buyers, right? If you're going to, um, and mine was 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Brent Gove, I went to see Brent Gove. Guess what? He had me a 7 o'clock meeting, an 8 o'clock meeting, a 9 o'clock meeting, a 10 o'clock meeting. He just had funnels of people coming in. Here, talk to Gene. Here, talk to Gene. He wore me out till 11 o'clock at night. But I said, he goes, "Gene, I don't understand. People come out. If you're going to come out here, I'm loading you up." Right? And that's why Brent's Brent. And then other people would go, "Hey, I want you to come to Tampa Bay. I want you to interview somebody." And I'd go and I'd interview one person. You'd go, "Wow, flew all the way to Tampa Bay from Dallas. I'm meeting one person. I'm out here all day. Line me up every hour on the hour."
Yep. Wow.
Does that help? Does that help you guys? In other words, you got to have systems. You just, you got to create good routines, habits, whatever the word is. If you don't have one, you don't have one.
You said you were going to be on fire this morning.
I'm always on fire.
It's crazy.
I'm always on fire
This is great.
because you're with me. What can I do? She's with me all the time. I can't get rid of Peggy. She's
No.
always here.
Never, never. You guys, I am so excited again. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, everybody, for staying on.
Thanks, guys.
This is recorded and it's on Wake Up Wednesday YouTube. I just can't say thanks enough, everybody. It's going to be a great year. We can do this. Woo!
Come on, let's go.
Yes.
All right,
Thank
we're
you.
Can't
really
say
heading
thank you
out.
enough either. Thank
We're
you
really
so
going.
much.
We're really going.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great year.
Let me know when
everybody.
you're coming in, Jean.
I will.
Enjoy Puerto Rico, Peggy. So nice. I can imagine the weather out there. It's freezing over here. It's not so cold, but Puerto Rico weather, wow. Short sleeves. Great
Have a great
questions.
year, Anne. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
Anne.
ladies.
We all need to go to Puerto Rico. I just think we need to do a Wake Up Wednesday out there as a group.
Yes. Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
I'm on it. You know what? Let's talk to Peggy. Is Peggy still here? I think she's gone.
Yeah.
That'll
No,
be
she's
great because
gone.
there's a Cabo and then a Puerto Rico for Wake Up Wednesday Mastermind. That'd be nice.
I like it. I think we could plan that.
I'm in.
I'm going to work
Okay.
on that.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Anna. I
Bye,
love
Anne.
that.